There are reports a number of whales stranded on a West Australian beach have died. The Department of Park and Wildlife estimates up to 70 long-finned pilot whales are stuck on Chains Beach, which is around 60 kilometres east of Albany. Let's bring in live now Marine Biologist Robert Harcourt. Rob, really appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Just firstly, what's your understanding of how this situation is developing today?
Hi, Ash. Yeah, there's a bit of a tragedy coming in. On Monday and Tuesday, these whales were seen sort of gathering close inshore, which is actually quite unusual. And yeah, you can see the video there. And we were actually wondering what's going on. I mean, maybe they'd been scared in by killer whales from offshore. But then, as a lot of us thought might happen, then they all came in onto the beach. And pilot whales are amazing. They live together for their entire lives. They're long-lived, 90 years. They have grandmothers that lead the herd. And sadly, when the lead animals go ashore, then everybody else wants to go with them. And they're a deep water animal. They're not used to swimming close inshore like bottlenose dolphins and others that we're more used to.
So, Robert, do you know how many whales may have died?
Well, over 50 have died, and I hate to say it's probably going to get worse. I mean, people have successfully pushed groups of pilot whales back out to sea, and from some really good work done by the Tasmanian department, which gets a lot of pilot whale strandings, they have found that some have gone on to swim away and be successfully revived. But over 50 were dead at the last report that I had heard.
Oh, goodness, that is really tragic to hear. Just tell us a bit about that rescue operation. What would the rescue teams be doing there on the ground right now? And why is it so difficult to get beached whales back out to sea?
Yeah, these animals are large. I mean, these are a deep water animal. They're up to 4 meters long. They weigh well over a ton, each animal. And, when there's like nearly 100 animals on the beach, working out who is going to die quickly and who's not. So they have they've got some really good vets down there. We actually work in the area on right whales. So we're going to be there next week. So I think everyone down there is going to be exhausted and really torn out now. So they need to identify which animals are likely to be able to survive or which ones probably have to be humanely put down. And a lot of them are going to be going down very quickly. It's quite dangerous. I mean, you're on a sandy beach with big waves and animals that are in distress, that if they roll over, they can crush you, they can break legs, they can knock people into the water. And with a lot of animals and a lot of confusion, you really need to manage things carefully, which is why the state government guys there, they're fantastic. They really know what they're doing, and they've been keeping the public safe and away from the animals. The last thing you want is people with the best intention running in and getting knocked over and badly hurt or worse. So they need to identify, if they can, who are the lead animals, if they're still alive, and if they can, get them safely back into the water. And of course, you're fighting against waves and tide and everything else like that. Ideally, they'll separate the ones that have died from the ones that are still alive, and then they can herd them back in, keep them moist on the shore. But they're a heavy animal, and they're absolutely stunning. I mean, they live a very long time, and they have strong maternal bonds. The mothers look after their children and their grandchildren, people just like we do. The chances of a lot of them living is after they've come ashore is pretty low. But who knows, if we're really lucky and the tide works and the people work together, and some of the animals might be rescued.
Gosh, Robert, it all just seems so senseless. You mentioned that the whales basically follow the lead whale, the grandmother usually, onto the shore. But what do we know about why they actually do that? I mean, what are the leading theories as to why we do see this happen every now and then?
Yeah, Ash, it's one of those million-dollar questions or multi-million-dollar questions now that we've all got a little bit older. I mean, these animals live right out in the deep open ocean. They're not a coastal animal. And they live by hunting on deep water squid, very deep down. Like they can dive 2,000 meters, incredibly deep. We've got some great tracks from colleagues of mine of them hunting eels in the Atlantic, right down in the ocean slopes. But they stay together in these large groups, and they fan out over large areas. But when they come close inshore, they've got all this sand nearby. I mean, it's shallow water and it's confusing. There's lots of noise and with waves and things like that. And there's different theories. One is that maybe they were scared in by a large group of killer whales, though sometimes big groups of polar whales can scare killer whales off. There's also thoughts about maybe a couple of them might have parasites or disease. But one thing we do know from some really good work off Victoria and Tasmania many years ago was that there's more of these strandings when the subantarctic polar front is closer to Australia. So when these animals that normally live down in cold temperate waters come closer to shore, so it could be a slightly an issue to do with just confusion of coming into shallow waters, not being used to it. And then if you've always followed the grand matriarch who really knows what she's doing, like elephants and like some human societies, then if she strands and she starts to panic, then everybody starts to panic. They've got very strong vocal communication. They talk to each other. They know who each individual is. And if you hear someone who's in distress, then you're going to get distressed, and then things can go terribly wrong as they have here.
Yeah, look, it is terribly sad. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, that news that more than 50 whales have died there on Chains Beach near Albany in WA. Robert Harcourt, really appreciate you explaining all of that for us. Thanks so much.